Alright everybody, welcome back to another Friday Night Magic tournament from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name, as always, is Zachary Evans. I'm by myself tonight, but we should have some people dropping in here throughout the night. We're right into our round one feature match tonight's, I believe, 5-round standard tournament with a cut to top 8. On the right, Aaron Dailey playing a Boros Aggro deck. This is more of a homebrew than some kind of stock list. And his opponent, also playing Boros, is playing a Boros burn deck. So Logan Cutlip is a stream regular. He's played Green-White Aggro and American Auras in the past. But this week he decided, he said, to sleeve up mono bad cards and is playing a heavy burn deck. I think every possible Lightning Bolt equivalent card is in his deck, along with support cards like Boros Reckoner and the like. So it's just an old-fashioned battle of two brews in round one. So Aaron's deck, basically a Boros Humans deck, as you see, a Strong Kirk Noble on turn 1 and a Thalia on turn 2. And that Thalia is going to cause a lot of problems for Aaron, but the Pillar of Flame is going to answer that. And the chat is asking if they both play their lands in front. As you see Aaron give up on that. They were attempting to grief everyone as much as possible, knowing full well how much the chat hate, or how much the stream viewers hate that. But as you can see, both of them can't stomach it themselves. So Aaron on curve, a pretty drastic curve here, as a turn 3 Silverblade Paladin comes down, allowing the Strong Kirk Noble to get in for 2. Well, actually getting in for 1 the first time and then 2 the second time, as the trigger is on damage. So it's going to gain 2 counters a turn. And Logan serving in with this Goblin Arsonist, which seems probably somewhat, well, I guess at this point it doesn't really matter. And there is a Gutter Snipe, which is part of the engine that makes this deck even remotely viable, is that he can get equivalent, he can equivalently shock his opponent twice with all his burn spells. So let's see if that Gutter Snipe lives. So serving in with a 3/3 Strong Kirk Noble and a 2/2 Silverblade Paladin, but both double striking. Yin! So now joined by Yin Sang, our resident co-commentator. Well, we dialed up a spicy one for you here, Yin. You're about 3 minutes late, and you almost missed the entire first game again. As we got Aaron's burn versus yeah. So Logan's playing basically a Gutter Snipe deck with all of the burn spells in it, and Boros Reckoners. He said, I was telling the chat earlier, he decided to sleeve up mono bad cards, is what he told me. But it's like legitimate strategy. Like it's not the best thing ever, and it probably can't beat Thragtusk, but you know, it can race fairly well. But right now he's facing down a paired Strong Kirk Noble and Silverblade Paladin and a Thalia, which will probably be enough here.
Is that a Reckoner deck?
No, that is a Gutter Snipe and a. Oh, you mean the Goblin Arsonist? No, don't mistake that for a good card.
Very true.
Well, as the resident Goblins player, I have cast Goblin Arsonist many times in my life, but I've never been thrilled about it. You just kind of have to play it.
A necessity when you're limited.
Well, when Innistrad Block came out and there were 0 goblins in the entire set, you had to scrounge for whatever goblins were playable before Chieftain rotated.
Yeah.
So here we see a Sky Knight Legionnaire, another hasted attacker here.
It's also a bad card in the, compared to everything else that you could be playing on Boros Aggro.
Yeah, I think now that you say that, I do remember very distinctly that Aaron was here relatively early tonight, and then right before the tournament went into his bag and realized he had left his deck at home, and I think this was just kind of like his backup for funsies deck.
Well, I'm glad he has this.
But he really wants to win that the Rakdos Cackler for his cube, the promo. Oh, did you get your Yin off camera showing me his Scavenging Ooze, which he got from buying the Steam version of Duels of the Planeswalkers. If you have not done so yet, I highly recommend it, as Duels of the Planeswalkers will be the best free video game you ever get for buying a $10 Scavenging Ooze. cannot recommend that highly enough. Well, these guys go their sideboard in a relatively quick game, as Logan's deck, pretty fringe as it is, and struggles against a double Thalia draw. But we do want to thank, as we do every week, the fine folks here at Lost Legion Games and Comics for letting us hijack their FNM and broadcast it to you each and every week. Obviously, if you're watching now, you know where we stream it at. It's twitch.tv/ZachSellsMagic, but you can, if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, try to catch us live sometime. We stream standard predominantly 6:30 p.m. Eastern each and every week, though as I did say, in 2 weeks we'll be doing a M14 core set draft, and then probably go back to standard after that. Pre-release is a week from tomorrow, and then the week after that is when we usually do the draft. So thanks to those guys that make it...
Also random goodies.
You got random goodies?
Yeah, got random goodies. These random goodies.
Oh, but they're foreign. But I like them still. Where'd you get those at?
Some guy on MOTO owed me like $800, so...
How about that goodie?
Oh, well, yeah. This is a better goodie.
I don't know what to do this with. Can you see that it shines? I don't know if you can see that it shines, but I came into that. I will own that for a hot minute. It's not every day that happens. Alright guys, well like I said, we did have, when I was here, I got here early today because I was off work today. Obviously it was the holiday weekend here in America, for those of you who are watching overseas.
Oh, it's not off work.
So I was here early, and about 6 o'clock, we started 6:30, give or take. About 6 o'clock, there's like 10 people here, and like 2 of them I know weren't playing. And now we have 30 people, so a pretty good showing for the holiday weekend. A lot of people who haven't been here in a while. A lot of our more, somewhat casual, but more just they can't make it every week crowd is here. But 30 people, and that should be a 5-round tournament with a cut to top 8, so should have upwards of 8 rounds of Magic for you. We do have, the last 2 weeks we have gone to the finals. We've played it out, so hopefully that will, depending on what my mood is come that time, we'll see if I'm interested in. Obviously I have no stake in the matter. They can do whatever they want, but... see some highlights here. We've got Zach Vilianco's here playing another of his homebrews. It's some blue-black... He said it was blue-black high tide, which I don't know how you play it in standard, but if someone can find a way to do it, it's our own Zach Vilianco. We've got...
By the way, have you given a random shout-out to Joseph Deal?
Yeah, we do want to, for those of you who are friends on our Facebook page, if you could go over and get a hold of Joseph Deal, or possibly post on the streams page. Joseph Deal is actually in the hospital, isn't he?
Yeah.
He has pretty severe, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I do know he had a very severe fever, and he's been in the hospital for several days, so we certainly hope that he gets better. He was actually in here on Wednesday, and that's basically when they started to figure out that something was wrong, and because he was just like, you could tell he just had a really high fever.
Yeah.
So obviously best wishes to him, our 2-time reigning FNM champion, but obviously that's of little consequence when someone's health is in question. So hopefully he gets that turned around.
Yep.
Meanwhile, back to the... now we can focus on the important things in life, which is imaginary wizard fight. So dueling tapped Sacred Foundries. So here's what Logan's deck does. Logan, as we saw, plays Gutter Snipe, plays Boros Reckoner, plays a couple other the Goblin Arsonist, which is basically a tempo card, and you can ping them if you want to. But it plays Skullcrack, it plays Pillar of Flame, it plays Searing Spear, it plays War Leader's Helix. It plays all of the possible, somewhat viable burn spells, and it's just trying to burn you out. Hey, it's round 1. We've got to have the...
yeah, well...
You got to get in there with some fun cards. So Aaron, turn 2 Thalia, which is probably the most important card in this matchup, and adding to it with a Sky Knight Legionnaire. Sky Knight Legionnaire is one of those cards that's very frustrating to me as like an older player, simply because there was a point where it would be the best aggressive card in Magic, and now it's not even playable.
Right.
So Pillar of Flame, paying the Thalia tax is going to get rid of Thalia, and the Gutter Snipe is going to shock Aaron down to 18. Are we loading up another pillar here? If we do, we don't pillar the Legionnaire. I think you could care less, right? Everything should...
Why he didn't attack with the Gutter Snipe? I mean,
I think, wait, the Legionnaire is tapped, right?
yeah. I mean, Legionary attacked, I mean,
I think
unless he has hasty.
he probably just made a mistake.
Okay.
So Skullcrack inbound, Boros Charm 4, and then 6 total.
Indestructible? Or for 6?
Well, it does look like he used the indestructible portion, which is probably more important, because
Yeah, especially depending on what he has.
yeah, I do have a little bit of experience with that, with Gutter Snipe as an archetype, because back when we were playing the Blue-Red Storm Burn at the Stake deck for fun around here, the Gutter Snipe is very important to those games,
Especially now.
Now, the double is obviously very good. So the same trick's going to work, but he's still going to eat 4 off of double Gutter Snipe activations.
And he still does not attack.
I don't know. I don't know if he forgot that attacking is a part of Magic.
Maybe he thinks those are blood artists.
So he adds a turn 5 Stromkirk Noble, which is not nearly as good as the turn 1 Stromkirk. But Logan's got so much business here. Pillaring the Stromkirk, take 4. Why would you not just pillar Aaron directly and do 6, and then kill him with any burn spell? Warleader's Helix you? Okay, that works too. That works too. If I had told you at the beginning of today that, does he have some kind of response to it? Yeah, I think Aaron was trying to kill one of the gutter snipes in response, but it triggers on cast.
Right.
If I had told you, Yen, and all of our 90 viewers that tonight you would see someone die to a double gutter snipe Warleader's Helix, you probably would have called me a liar. Or you might have said, in that case, I might not watch the stream. But that's the kind of goodies that we hope for.
Or I would watch the stream because it's not Gruul on Gruul action.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I know it's fun. I've been doing this long enough, and long enough is I think like 45 weeks or something like that. It's the 31st of August is when we hit a calendar year. But like there's a period of time where we got, and by we I mean just me, like through various YouTube comments and in chat and stuff, people like rail on us for having like, why would we want to watch these decks? Because we have like stock decks here. It's like, the Wright brothers, Brandon Hart, you, Garrett. They play real decks. Sometimes we have like the fringe deck that somebody wants to. And just like, it's so frustrating because like that's the majority of FNM. Like the majority of FNMs around the world are people who don't have 4 bonfires, so they can't play that deck. So they just build whatever deck they have. And I don't know, Logan's got good cards. He knows he's done very well in years past. It's ironic that
Logan can definitely play like stock decks if he wanted to.
He went. There was a period of time where he went to the top 4, like weeks and weeks in a row, playing that green-white aggro deck that was basically like Mana Dork into Smiter, Mana Dork into Silverblade Paladin into Sublime Archangel with a Rancor on it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
He won a lot of money or a lot of packs off the back of Sublime Archangel. So interesting. Chad's saying that was a highlight candidate. It's a good one. And also the chat talking about how this deck is a blue splash away from the Nivix Cyclops deck. Have you seen that in its full glory?
Nope. I've heard about it.
Yeah, it can, like, it's very fragile in the sense that, like, if you're playing, like, for example, your Jund deck, like, you're playing a lot of targeted removal, and, like, it can't beat a lot of times it can't, if it taps out for Cyclops on turn 3, it can't beat a Dreadbore, or a Tragic Slip, or things of that nature, or Mortars. But, like, if you get to untap with that Cyclops, like basically you're one Boros Charm away from just winning the game. Because it plays Feeling of Dread, it plays Face Shield, or Artful Dodge, so just,
Yeah.
One, 2 cards and a Boros Charm gets it done. Pretty fun. And again, it's very fragile. It's just like, as someone who's cast Kiln Fiend in multiple formats, like, you can win big and you can lose hard too, so.
That's like most decks. Most aggro-based decks anyways. Or combo decks.
Yeah. It's very strong though. And it plays, like the real versions, like the non-budget versions play Geist of Saint Trap, which is basically a deck in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some decks that just can't beat a turn 3 Geist of Saint Trap. So,
Sounds like my deck. Depending on certain draws.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
If I don't get a Lily.
There's a lot of variance in Magic, and it's something a lot of people don't take into account. But some guys say Trap is just a strong Magic card.
Yep.
Alright, so we move into Game 3 here in the Battle of the Boros Budget Decks. So Aaron Dailey's creature-based Boros Aggro deck is going to be on the play, which is pretty consequential in this matchup against Logan's Burn deck. But we haven't seen a Reckoner out of this. Logan has to mold a 6. We haven't seen a Reckoner out of Logan's deck, which is very relevant in this game. I mean, it's going to be difficult for him to attack through it.
Get stuck with the Sky Knights.
Yeah. You can 2 him every turn. Because you basically can't afford to ever attack because you're just going to get 2 for 1. So.
Well, you might not even get the 1 because your guy has to be big enough to kill the rest.
Yes. Yeah, assuming Logan gives it first strike, then has to live through 3 power of first strike damage. So Logan goes back to see if he can find 6 cards that he can play with. I really thought there'd be a low turnout tonight, but
I thought there would be too.
Turns out, well, there's like
there's
basically like 2 cars that brought 4 or 5 people each, so that basically kind of took us from like the numbers I was expecting given the holiday.
Okay.
A lot of people are down at the golf tournament, and with I think the Aerosmith concert is tonight or tomorrow. So Logan's down to 5.
And Aaron's like yellow only.
He is. It's not cool, Aaron.
No.
What's his shirt say?
Something stupid.
Something stupid. You can visit Aaron's website at somethingstupid.biz. Something drones, maybe? He's originally from, like the Baltimore metro area in Maryland, so if that's possibly a high school affiliation, I'm completely useless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he was, for example, from Nitro, I would know that's the Wildcats.
Apparently it's unmanned drones.
Unmanned drones?
That's this guy up here.
It has a pic of a military drone. Alright. So Logan finds 5 that he can keep. And luckily for him, Aaron does not start with a 1-drop, so basically giving away his turn 1 advantage. Let's see if he lands a turn 2 Thalia, which he is.
Yep.
It's a foil one, isn't it?
No, but a foil one's much better than a non-foil.
Well, if you have a foil, of course, Logan's stuck on 1 land, so this game might be over. Thalia doing her best Stone Rain impression here.
Aaron's stuck on 2 lands and Thalia, so...
I'd take the clock and the Thalia over... and there's a Legion Loyalist.
Yeah,
So get in for 3, dropping Logan to 15. Logan desperately trying to draw out of this. Needs a pillar or a 3rd land, I'm assuming, to be able to get Thalia off the board. There's a 3rd land for Aaron, so either Sky Knights or Silverblade Paladin on its way, which effectively doubles the clock here. Silverblade Paladin paired with Thalia.
Yeah, maximizes damage. But
Yeah.
in his situation with Logan having nothing.
Thunderous Wrath. Oh yeah, I forgot he was playing Thunderous Wrath. Thunderous Wrath's actually really good in a Gutter Snipe deck. But obviously not at this point, you know. Because he's just dead on board, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he just killed Thalia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creature or player, right? Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is. I mean, it's the arc, like things like Love Axes. Okay, well.
1, 2, that's 9. No, it's 9. It's 9. It's 9 exactly. So Logan goes down to 1, and he gets to draw 1 card before he concedes.
Yeah, because not even Bonfire will save him.
He's not playing Bonfires. If this deck is playing Thunderous Wrath, he surely didn't sleep up 4 Bonfires.
Yeah, I know, but like, even if he was playing Bonfires.
In a theoretical world where he snuck in 1 good card into his mono bad cards deck. And of course I only say that because that was his definition of this deck when telling me what he was playing tonight.
I might get dinner for a little bit between.
You're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
And I'm more than welcome to step outside as we see a Multi 5 and a little bit of Mana Screw get the better of Logan in this game. Would have been fun to see more out of his deck, but we did get some some good use out of the one game he did win. It was fun to see that gutter snipe combo. This is about random Modern Masters cards. We do have a supplemental feature match for you here, as we've got Stream Regular, Garrett Relentless himself, Grixis Control Pilot this week, breaking away from his junk deck. He plays junk every week, it's just a matter of which kind of cards the junk. Is it Reanimator, is it Planeswalkers, is it Aggro, or Midrange? And he's playing against Drew Scherr, who's been playing Grixis Control since I think Return to Ravnica came out.
Yep.
So we do have the Grixis Control mirror match. Both these guys are racing to Bolas, basically. Garrett playing Divination. Garrett's playing Divination instead of Think Twice, because as Garrett put it in his deck, Think Twice is just a 5 mana Divination, because he's not really leaving mana open for a lot of things, because he's tapping out. He's basically
tap out Grixis.
Yeah, he's playing Key Runes and Gilded Lotus, so he's just trying
to get as fast as you can.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of Planeswalkers too. I would not be surprised if we see a Rouse Eric. He's playing Chandra, and there is a Rouse Eric, which is going to get Syncopate, I think. Oh no, is it Charm? Is it Charm is oft underplayed. I mean, it was played a lot in when American Flash was like in its heyday. You saw it a lot, or at least a couple copies, but it really kind of fell out of favor. I guess it's not very good. Like the 2 damage isn't very good anymore. Like in the current.
Deck choice tonight would have played 3 of those.
Are you playing? You are playing the Terrible Twos, right?
The Terrible Twos.
Immortal Servitude. Did you win?
I won 2.
As I'm joined now, I should mention Scotty Wright is now joining us, but they can't see you. You just waved to no one, which I thought was fun. But
yeah, I guess I did wave.
You did wave. And there is the aforementioned Gilded Lotus. Yeah, I was going to say if I'm Drew here, I counter this as well. Because if Garrett just untaps and slams Bolas, like Drew is playing Dreadbore, but like he's going to blow up his Drown Yard, and it's just the tempo of getting Stone Rain there is just not something he can handle. But like I said, Garrett loves himself some Planeswalkers, so he's also playing 2 copies, I believe, of Chandra the Firebrand.
Okay.
We're going to see...
Mana Planeswalker of some sort.
No, Witchbane Orb.
So no Drown Yarding.
Yeah, but I think we're going to see a negate... Oh no, Alchemy in response. Garrett shocking himself down to 18 to leave that 2 mana open, so I'd imagine a sideboarded negate is in play. We see a Notion Thief. That's going to be a saucy sideboard card, and I didn't see what else was there. So the Witchbane Orb sticks, and that's a 1-of in Garrett's sideboard. I know all of this because, like, I saw Garrett always shows me his deck when he shows up. So, Slaughter Games cannot be countered, right?
Cannot be countered. Ooh, but he cannot target because of the Witchbane Orb.
Yep. Somebody keeping him honest out there.
So does Drew have any answers to the orb?
I would, well,
does anything, and
Red obviously has access to a lot of shatter effects, but I can't imagine Drew's playing any of them. Although if he has them in his board, he might side them in here as Garrett lands a Niv Mizzet, because is this going to get countered? Syncopate for 1. No, Alchemy in response, leaving Izzet Charm mana up. Oh, Izzet Charm's not going to be good here, right? You have to have Syncopate, right?
Or Kill Spell, even he's tapped out, so...
Yeah. 3 lands go to the bin. Oh, and he tried to pick up the Alchemy. But he, like I said, if he does have just 1 copy of Vandal Blast in the sideboard, which he should have, but you might see that here simply because Garrett runs so many artifacts. So there is the Dreadbore, which he more than likely got him.
He played his own Witchbane. Yep.
So we've got our shields up here as both players. Boom! There's only here's a pro tip I know. There's only 2 Niv Mizzets in Garrett's deck, and only 1 Witchbane Orb, and he's found all of them in this game. And he's only drawn 2 extra cards off of Divination.
I think Drew has a far and away in his hand, but he can't away, unfortunately. I think he's gonna realize that right now.
Wait, is it target?
Yeah.
Tell him.
Or
there you go. You can still bounce it. It's not until you have a Leyline of Sanctity in play that you realize...
Kills it.
Yeah, that you realize how many cards target. Like in Legacy, for example, Torment's Crypt. I didn't realize it, because one of the guys I know was running them in his dredge deck in the sideboard. He's like, well, it's the only way I can stop Torment's Crypt, and I thought that's like the weirdest way ever to stop a Torment's Crypt, is by putting a 4-of card that you can't cast ever in your.
You just have to have in
Yes.
your opener.
But he was correct. You can't target them with it. Olivia still can take over games, but Garrett hasn't. I mean, he hasn't played a reactive card this whole game, so surely he's got some kind of answer to this.
So Drew draws Niv Mizzet, or not Niv Mizzet, but
Bolos?
and lands that. That takes care of which way north, doesn't it?
Yes. That is his answer, I guess. This is also his answer to winning the game.
Yep. But Garrett plays his own right there.
Does it stick? Yeah, because we know both cards because of Drew's.
Far and away. And
yeah, we know because he's tried to illegally play both of the cards in his hand, so we know what they are. So Bolas comes down. You steal Olivia here, don't you?
I think so. Yeah.
There's also a point where Garrett had, after he played the second Niv Mizzet, he had 2 mana open. And then when Drew dreadboarded it, shouldn't have he shot Drew in response?
Can't.
Is it target creature only?
I know it's player, but he has Witchbane.
Oh, yeah. That's why
Get another target.
This is just another confirmation of why I'm bad at Magic. So Drew, what happened to the Olivia? It's in his hand?
He bounced it with the far.
Oh,
he
I
stole
got
it. And then he bounced
I
it.
got it. Pretty good play. So Jace, Architect of Thought, comes down, and we flip the dreaded 3-land pile.
Makes it easy. You just take the 2 pile, right?
You just give him both of the shock lands.
Yeah.
Like, the color fixing doesn't matter. You just make him pay life if he wants the untap. I think both of those were foil. This is worth noting.
The Blood Crypt's foil as well, I mean, it looks like.
Yep. I'm seeing the Rectos sign way too vividly.
Yeah.
So Drew passes back. So there is a hard cast Temporal Mastery.
That's when you don't see it.
Well, what's really good about it, Garrett plays a lot of them because he's just trying to have fun.
No, it's just...
But, like, also, he ends up, like, what it lets you do is let you ultimate Planeswalkers.
Bolos sticks up very fast.
And he does. He's a 3-turn ultimate. And what's important, too, is, like, Temporal Mastery, like, its worst-case scenario is oftentimes just, like, a Rampant Growth. But in your Grixis control deck, Rampant Growth is fine. And if he draws another one here, he can chain it together and then go up the chain on Bolos as well.
No,
See?
Is he playing 4 or 3?
I know he's playing at least 3, because we played a little bit earlier and he had 3 of them. Would this not be that's the greatest thing ever if he changed 3 of them together and ultimates?
I think that would be a highlight.
Oh, you think? I think we'd have to quit. I think we'd have to quit doing the stream because I don't think we could ever top that.
You finally got your Think Twice Indeterminus last week.
I did. It was a good one too. It was a good one. in a match that Brett should have won 40 minutes before he actually won it. Rakdos Kiru. Duress. You can't target. He can't duress it.
Oh, it's a target. Yeah, you got it.
We win the award for stream with most violations of Witchbane Orb. So
It's
Bolas.
an awkward card to play against.
So Garrett was choosing there if he wanted to ultimate Bolas or if he wanted to kill the Witchbane Orb, which is what he did. And now we can successfully duress.
Take the 2 lanes that you have in the cards that probably just...
You take the Bolas.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how crucial is that? Drew probably... He either just drew it or he had it in his hand when Garrett... Well, Drew's 2 turns away. He's 2 turns away from being able to cast Bolas.
So I guess if there's that off chance he does draw some answer to that.
Yeah, he's going to lose all of his permanents. No, he's gonna keep one of them now. So Garrett hellbent, but with a Bolas on ultimate, Witchbane Orb, and a Rakdos Kirun. We're going to activate a Desolate Lighthouse here. Cast Jace AOT. We want to mini-factor fiction for Dreadbore, Drowned Catacomb, and another Jace. I think I give him Dreadbore a no there.
Boros is 8 cost, right?
Yep, 5 and no 4 red, right? Yeah, 2 black.
Yeah. There's a question in the chat as to why he didn't play his Boros that time.
Yeah, because he's 1 mana short. That's why.
He is 1 short.
Which is, I'm sure, why Garrett didn't take it from his hand. So, Boldus goes ultimate. What? Is it target?
No, it's still, no, his Witchbane Orb is gone.
Wait, does Boldus target?
His Witchbane Orb's gone.
Oh, yeah.
He blew it up last turn.
And now all of Drew's cards are gone. Well, so that game was actually pretty fun.
Drew would have played his Bolos, but he was 1 mana short.
He had 7
They're
lands.
still talking about it in the chat.
They can talk about it a lot. But I'll tell you this, Drew's not one of our more experienced players. I think he's only been playing for about 2 years, but he would not cast his Bolas if he had an option. I think the only reason Drew plays Standard is so he can cast Nicole Bolas. He would not have missed that opportunity. So we've got under 5 minutes remaining in the round. We're going to switch back to the other camera. Scotty, have you been keeping up with M14 spoilers?
I have.
What is your favorite card so far that has been spoiled? Let's see if I can dig it up out of my archives here.
I'm a fan of Doomblade. I'm glad to see that coming back.
That is a very crucial card that a lot of people...
I've been missing for a while.
Yes. Anything else? Any of the more... Let's talk about this card, because I'm particularly hot and bothered about it.
I was going to say the Wolf.
Yeah, I've already heard this card been referred to as the Derp Wolf. Which I think is pretty funny. The art is hilarious. It looks like... I know I'm dating myself here, but it looks like... what's it called? I don't know. From one of like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, there was like Pugsley was his name, or maybe I can't remember. There was like a bad guy dog, and that's what he looks like. But so like we're currently in a standard environment, which is being like run, like not run roughshod, but like there's clearly an elephant in the room, and that elephant is banned enchantments, right? And it exists solely because you can take a card like Invisible Stalker or Geist of Saint Trap and put Unflinching Courage on it. Not only did they print a card, like so many good cards with hexproof, but then they reprinted Armadillo Cloak, which is the best creature enchantment other than Rancor, which is also in standard. And then it's like, well, at least they're going to rotate, and, we're getting a new core set. Maybe they're going to move away from them, because they clearly don't like the lack of interactivity in Magic, especially at the core set level. Then they print this asshole, and I'm trying to figure out exactly, like, first of all, this guy is brutal. Now, you didn't play in the days of Great Sable Stag.
I did not.
Okay, so Great Sable Stag was a card that they printed... Great Sable Stag was a card that they printed in the Shard Zendikar block to answer... Jund, because basically it had pro blue, pro black, and it couldn't be countered. So it was good against fairies, but then it was also good against Jund because almost all the removal in Jund was black, because it was Terminate and Bit Blast and things of that nature. But like Great Sable Stag, you could it had pseudo hexproof because you couldn't target it with Doomblade, but you could at least I don't know, you could burn it out. And this guy gets big pretty quick, you know what I mean? It's like you already have, he already has hexproof, which is one of the most annoying parts about banned enchantments. But then it also has equivalent Voice of Resurgence effect, where it's like your opponent will never want to cast a spell on your turn.
Right.
It's just so brutal. I mean,
it's making that deck a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, and I understand that stuff is going to rotate, and it's not. I mean, I like to complain about cards. If you've been watching this stream long enough, you should know by now that I like to complain. But I just hate hexproof because it's the most non-interactive ability ever printed, and it just seems like the thing like we talked about before. Wizards has gone on record as saying we'll never have a 3-cost land destruction spell again. Land destruction will never be a viable archetype again in standard, simply because it's not. New players hate playing Magic. That's how you get someone to quit playing Magic, is you blow up all their lands.
They just can't do what they want to do.
Yeah, they can't play with the cards they brought, right? But this card basically does that too, because it's you have these kill spells in your deck. You have bolts, you have Doomblades, you have stuff like that, and you can't use them on these guys. But who knows? This guy might not be irrelevant because at some point there might be creatures that are bigger than this that doesn't really come up into play. But I mean. You're still going to have Unflinching Courage viable for another year, so I don't...
As well as Ethereal Armor.
Right. Yeah, Ethereal Armor doesn't rotate. You do probably lose Rancor. I doubt they're reprinting that, but you can always find something to jam in there. So, what's the chat saying about this? Muttley! Boom! Your wits end nails it there. It was Muttley, which is funny because I asked someone on Twitter what it was, and then they pointed it out. It was because I couldn't think of it, and then they answered it, and in the meantime, I've still forgotten about it. So. Yeah, and it does. In the No Time Remains, also mentioning in the chat, which is a viable point. Like they've really put. None of these things are secret, but R&D and Magic has really pushed towards like more spells on the creatures. Like it wants it to be creature based because that's more of a beginner level, especially in the core set. That's more of a beginner level Magic. That's more of like casual Magic. New players like to cast creatures more than they like to cast. Yeah, like a new player will never play Divination. You know what I mean? A new player will never play Think Twice. A new player won't be excited about those. So that's why we see these kind of cards, but it doesn't mean I have to like them. What else? There's like a million spoilers, a lot of good cards. Let me pull up another one here. I'm not going to talk about this Newt Cauldron Bog Witch thing because that's just annoying.
The new theme cover.
Yeah, the Banisher Priest.
The wording on that is that to
You can't trick.
stop?
You can't do the Human Reanimator trick.
Okay.
So Scotty's talking about this card, which is a Banisher Priest, which is effectively, thanks JB, effectively a new Fiend Hunter, except with the exception that it is a bear now, not a 1/3. So it's more of an aggro card. But yeah, the way that it's wording is that it's only exiled as long as this card's in play, basically meaning that you can't loop it and do tricks in response to the trigger and things like that, which is probably more the intent of the card, especially in the core set. So we just got pairings for round 2. You're playing against Chad. Is that a matchup you can? How'd you fare against him in testing?